Welcome back to the Pigskin Podcast. I'm Ben Pherson. This is Jason Feldman. Feldy.
Hi.
It's a good week to be back after
It
the
sure
Vikings
is.
and Gophers both play about as well as we could possibly
This
imagine.
is classic Minnesota. We are so good at sports early in the season.
Yeah, let's not get our hopes too
No.
high here. But I see on my sheet here you wrote Super Bowl homeboy for
Right.
the Vikings. You also wrote Super Bowl homeboy for the Gophers.
Right.
I feel like you should change that to Rose Bowl homeboy.
I don't know. I think they're that good.
Okay. All right. But we'll start with the Vikings real quick. Like I said, I can't imagine that first game going any better than it did. The line played better than expected. You know, I think there's some issues still run blocking wise, but they pass block a lot better than I expected. Because pass blocking is a thing that takes a little more unity and being together and playing together as far as how far you drop back and when you drop back. Because if you drop back unevenly, you're creating holes in the line. But they played great, I thought, pass blocking.
Yeah, well, I think Bradford got sacked one time.
One time.
Is that right?
Yep.
And I watched the replay of it today, and you can pin it on Mike Remmers if you want, but really it was just a heck of a move by Cam Jordan coming off that end.
He's all right.
Yeah, in a one-on-one matchup there. So, I mean, aside from that, I thought Bradford did a nice job, too, of moving in the pocket when they gave him one. They gave him time to throw. And I still don't think Jarius Wright, I just saw that ball coming. I think he just stuck his arms out and just dropped it.
There's only two people I know that make that throw, and Brett Favre was the other one that even attempt that throw. You know,
That was, I was complaining early in the game about that camera that ESPN uses that gets down.
It's perfect for that play.
But that was fantastic. You could see exactly what Bradford was looking at and what he couldn't see there.
I love that camera angle on a replay. I don't want to watch it during the game, but I like to watch it on a replay so I can see what the quarterback's seeing. And it really does show you. I think it really shows you which quarterbacks are capable of going through progressions and which ones aren't.
And Sam clearly is, and all of a sudden that.
Well, you give him time.
All of a sudden that trade of the first-round draft pick a year ago doesn't look so bad, does it?
But it didn't like at this time last year either, when we were like, oh yeah, we're awesome.
I think he's answered the question marks though that came along with that trade.
Well, he stayed upright for a year. Even though he was on his back a lot, he still didn't get hurt. So, yeah, I mean, it can't go much better now. They're going to get a very stiff test this week with the Steelers, and that offense is deadly. We know that.
It's the NFL, said that was just one game, and they could go out and lay an egg in Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden the sky will be falling. So
correct.
We'll
use
our favorite coach's cliche, and we'll take it a week at a time.
And the Gophers moved to 2-0 with a
Super Bowl homeboy.
Kind of win though that we didn't see under previous regimes, right, where they stepped on a lesser foe, and it's something I harp on with that team, and they finally did it, and I was impressed.
I think that's what we expected to see out of them in Week 1 against Buffalo, wasn't it? I mean, you get a lead and then you put the foot down.
It's just hard when it's a new coach, new systems, a new player, the new quarterback. They didn't have a quarterback, and Rhoda stepped up and earned that starting job now, and the one thing there's two things I'm still a little worried about the secondary. The secondary was not good in that game, and if they were going against a capable offense, I think they're in trouble in that game. They picked on Mr. Chenault quite a bit, and everyone's going to get that tape now, so they need to make some adjustments in the secondary. And then the other thing, stop with the read option. If you got a quarterback that's not ever going to keep the ball, there's no read and there's no option. So you got to if Rhoda is your quarterback, straight handoff, please.
Put him under center. Let him just run your traditional offense.
Right.
Hand the football off. I mean, that's the way it's going to be down the road, too, I would imagine, regardless of who's back there. It sure doesn't look like it's going to be Demery Croft right now, but...
What's weird is the offensive line did not play that well in that game. We've got two dynamic backs in Smith and Brooksy back there. Yeah, it doesn't matter if the line plays well. They seem to be able to get their yards.
And I didn't get to see as much of the game as you did. I only saw bits and pieces of the second half, but I don't know if it's that Oregon State is really that bad, or if it's that or if it's that the Gophers are that much improved, or if it's somewhere in the middle. But I was really impressed by the defensive effort in the second half.
They are very bad, and that's why I was stunned that Oregon State was favored in that game. Just mind-blowing to me. So now
the team should not be favored in a game all year.
Whoa.
Who they play.
They
just look so disorganized and just out of sorts. It's not what you expect from a Division I football team, no matter how talented they are or aren't.
And now they get Middle Tennessee State this weekend. I am far more worried about that game than I was about this game, which is odd. I know that we're playing a Pac-12 team on the road, and I'm more worried about Middle Tennessee State coming to the bank.
And this feels like, I don't like the term, but it does. It feels like a trap game. You have a week off next week to prepare for Maryland, to get into your Big Ten schedule. They're feeling really good about themselves.
And Maryland looks really good, by the way.
Right.
They've started the year pretty well.
So this week will be another really good test because let's face it, with the strength of their Big Ten schedule this year, this is one they have to have if they want to be bowl eligible at the end of the season.
Now, before we get to our bread and butter, the high school stuff, we still don't have a sponsor. I was gonna come out and say, yeah, thanks to Under Armour for sponsoring us, and I really appreciate it. But we know that's not true. I'd take a few T-shirts from Under Armour. I'd call them our sponsor. Our advertising department hasn't sold it, so I guess we got to do it. We need a sponsor for this show and for this game of the week.
How about if we just go into one of our favorite local brew pubs or something and set the camera up and start recording?
Well, until they start bringing us free beers, then I don't have anything to do that. But maybe we just show up over at Home Federal and just take some money.
Maybe. Call us, tweet us, whatever.
Yeah.
If you want
Call him.
Put your name on this thing.
So high school stuff. Player of the week. Let's go.
You go first.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
All right. So technically, this guy's not really in our coverage area, but I'm going with him anyway. Carson Gunderson, wide receiver from Randolph, had a monster game last week. 10 receptions, 230 yards, couple of touchdowns, and a 50-12 win for Randolph over Lanesboro. A game that got pretty chippy, but I don't care who you are or what level you're playing at. 10 receptions for 230, that's worthy of player of the week. Like I said, that's kind of a fringe covered school for us, but you have a game like that, Mr. Gunderson, you get my tip of the cap for this week's
Pretty good night.
It's an alright night.
Randy Moss, like.
It is.
For me, this guy's numbers don't really stick out as a player of the week or player of the game type thing, but I just, from the more I hear about him, I like the way he plays, and that's Caden Floodstrom, the quarterback, senior quarterback from Rochester Century. Was 7-12 for 135 yards, but he threw 3 touchdown passes, including the one on the, I don't know if it was a fake field goal or a botched field goal, depending on how you want to look at it.
I think it was botched, but
Either way, he handled it very well, got up through the touchdown pass, got Century a big win over a new Prague team that I believe had received some votes in the state poll last week. Either way,
went over Redmond. I don't know.
Either way, though, for a Century team that finished last year very strong and had some big hopes coming into the season, faced a tough Mankato West team in that first week, to get a win last week and to do it after blowing a 2-touchdown lead and then being able to come back and get the win, very impressive. So Caden Floodstrom, my player of the week. I have an honorable mention too for your seat.
Oh man,
this one. I know we don't do this a lot. We don't do this a lot, but
we'll allow it.
For giving me a little fist bump as we walked off the field last week, Ryan Wagner,
Then he should automatically
junior receiver and linebacker from Caledonia. He watches the show, gave me props for picking Caledonia to win the game by a touchdown. So Ryan Wagner's gonna get my honorable mention this week.
Trent, you're not getting mine. Put me further behind.
Do you want to know how many you got right last week?
I don't care.
How many games? I think I have.
The thing about the picks
clinched
for the rest of the year, we're not going to do them. Like, there's no really point. We're conceding to Feldy. We're going to start focusing on next year.
Fair
focus
enough. Where's my trophy?
Give Feldy the trophy
Where is it?
for the first time ever.
You're around here somewhere. I'm going to engrave my name on it.
You should, with maybe like a pen or something.
All right, let's pick some games.
Yeah, so we didn't do well last week. I don't think even you did very well.
I was 4-3, and you were
not
1
3
game
and
worse.
4. Yeah. So
Let's
yeah,
forget
5 games behind already. I mean, that's a lot to make up. I think mathematically, I'm probably out of the wild card race.
I think some of that though goes to show just how good football teams are down here. It's not easy to pick these games early in the season.
Well, there's 3. I'm like, no joke. There's 3 games that you got nice comeback wins and that I was like, got it. Like the first week, there was 2. I was watching the scores come. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill Philly this week. Oh, all of a sudden now I'm losing.
I have to be honest. We don't get paid to care who wins and loses. But as I'm standing on the sideline there for that Caledonia and tracking game, and saw Owen King throw the winning touchdown pass,
You were like,
a little bit just because I knew I didn't have to hear it from you when I got
you're
back.
calling me in. Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Shout out to Triton for that game they played last week.
Heck
My
yeah.
goodness. Nobody's played Caledonia like that in 3 years.
And
so
they're going to give another crack.
that
Telling
we
you
could
what.
very well see that's a really good section, but we could definitely see that rematch in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's jump into the games here, Feldy. Owatonna at Austin, 2 2-0 teams.
2 teams that have won big in the first 2 weeks too.
Mm-hmm. This is an interesting game. You want me to go first or you want to go first?
Go ahead.
I'm going Owatonna. You got one of the best quarterbacks in the state.
Yeah.
They got
One of the best running backs in the state.
I mean their coaching staff is incredible, and this is a year that I think they knew that if they're winning another state title, it's coming right now. So I'm going with the Huskies. Now I do think Austin's going to score some points in that game. Austin's offense is legit. They're not just beating up. Now yes, they haven't beaten elite teams or anything, but they're beating capable teams, and they're putting lots of points on the board. They kind of did that at the end of last year too.
And Austin has what you need at that level, a bunch of second-year starters,
Right.
guys who have played a lot of varsity ball.
So I see this as a shootout. I'm going to go with Owatonna 42, Austin 28.
Wow, that's almost the same score I had written down here. I said Owatonna 41-24. I agree with you. Austin has some talented players, and it's no shame to lose to an Owatonna team that is as good as this one. Like you said, that team has its sights set on a state championship, and legitimately so, but I'm going to go with Owatonna as well.
All right, next one we got a couple of 0-2 teams that should be a good matchup, actually. East is at Mayo. Both teams start the year 0-2. Fell the year up first. In this one.
And Mayo has some depth issues right now. They've got a couple of their starting linebackers are out. I don't know if they'll play this week or not. But they're coming back home. First home game of the season after getting beat a couple times on the road. I think there's going to be enough fire, enough motivation from the coaching staff, hopefully from the players too. They're not going to want to start 0-3 and not going to want to lose this home opener. But I think East is going to give them a game. I'll take Mayo 19-14.
I'm going Mayo 14-13. I think it's going to be a very good football game. I think it's going to come down to the final possession, and really one of those games where big mistakes are going to be what swings that football game. So, yeah, East is kind of the same boat as Mayo. They played a couple of very tough teams to start. They started with West and Northfield, right? Two very good football teams. So, I think that's going to be a great football game. That might be the closest game of the week, but I'm going to go with Mayo. The Spartans getting the win. You got a great coaching staff, and you've got some very good athletes on that team. Just got to put it together. So, next one, probably more interesting, I think, than people would have thought going into the year.
Top 10 matchup.
Triton at Chatfield. Triton 1-1, of course. The only loss would be to Cal.
By the way, they lost last week and moved up in the state bowl.
Which
is
give the voters credit, because absolutely they should have. They had the defending champ on the ropes. Frankly,
I did that in our vote. I moved Triton up about 3 spots from where I voted them.
They should be. So I got to pick this one
and
first.
Chatfield's ranked 10th, by the way.
I'm giving Chatfield a lot of credit because Chatfield's defense has looked really good to start the year. They're forcing turnovers. They're getting in the backfield. I like that defense a lot, but I still think Triton just has too many athletes across the board. And I'm going to go with the Cobras in this one. I think it's going to be maybe a little better game than people anticipate, but I'm going to go Triton 28-19.
Okay, I have Triton 22-19.
The 19. Aren't you reading 17?
Looking at my notes or what?
No. This is the first time I've seen these games.
I think Triton's schedule through the first 2 weeks has been a little bit tougher, so I want to see just what Chatfield can do against one of the best teams in the state. But Chatfield's on their home field.
Well, we'll find out if Chatfield's legit right here, right
Absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. This is the test. We'll see what they're made of this week. But just watching the way Triton's played the first 2 weeks, that's a heck of a football team, and it's going to take a lot to beat them. So I'm going to take Triton. Like you said, though, I think it'll be close, 22-19.
All right. Next one is my favorite game of the week, and it is the game of the week. Kenyon Wanamingo at Goodhue, Knights at the Wildcats. This is going to be a heck of a football game. I don't see a lot of points getting scored in this game.
No, I would agree. And, I talked with both coaches yesterday for the previous story, and Goodhue's defense has just been absolutely lights out. They're allowing less than 150 yards a game. Haven't given up a point yet this season. And by the way, they've allowed 1 completed pass through 2 games.
What year are we? You can plug this, what you're saying, into any year of Goodhue football.
And that's what
They've always got a great.
That's what I wrote in today's paper. It's a typical Goodhue team. They maybe will throw the ball a little bit, as will Kenyon. They both have second-year quarterbacks. But Goodhue's at home. They've beaten Kenyon the last 2 years, which, by the way, has sparked Kenyon on some big winning streaks.
Correct.
I agree with you. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of points scored in this one tomorrow night, but I'm going to take Goodhue at home 20-12.
Yeah, I got to go with G-Force. I like the Knights. They've won a couple of very close games here. Last week, I think they won by a point.
Right.
They're a solid football team, but I just think Goodhue is going to grind this one out. I actually think it's legitimately going to be a 7-0 kind of game. I'm going to go with Goodhue 7-0. I think every point is going to be crucial in that football game. That's for sure.
I'd be fine with that. Watch a good defensive battle. Why not?
And there's a rivalry there. Those are pretty close communities. And I both of those communities, well, Kenyon and Wanamingo, but we'll say both communities are going to come out in full force, and that place is going to be as packed as it can get. You're going to be standing.
Should be a great atmosphere.
People standing around
Yeah.
That football field.
Look forward to that one.
So next one is another one. Again, there are 2-0-2 teams that are better than their record, and I think this might be the game of the week, really.
Well, and we should explain that to people who may look at this and wonder why. We put this game on our poll for possible game of the week, and when we put the 4 games out there each week,
we don't pick the easy ones.
No, we don't want. It's not always necessarily the best teams or the best records that we're putting out there. We pick the games that we think might be close, might be fun to watch, and the fans might enjoy having us there. So this is one of those, I think.
Well, I don't think we put anywhere where we think fans would enjoy having you there. I don't know that we'll find any games like that, but
well, Andy Link comes too.
yeah, whatever. But all right, Pine Island at Lake City. Is it me first? No, it's you first.
Me first? Okay. Well, both of these teams have played. They're 0-2, but they've played tough schedules to start. Pine Island has faced
those. Me, isn't it? It's you.
Okay. Well, I'll let you.
Remember.
Can I just stop? They faced Western Ontario and Byron. Lake City has faced Caledonia and Stewartville. Now they get Pine Island, and then by the way, in week 4 they get Rochester Lures. How's that a start to the season?
It's all right.
I'm the head coach there. Why don't you just go into your AD's office and throw the schedule down?
Sir!
Can you do something about this, please?
Yeah.
Throw the yellow flag at them.
Man, if Lake City has their head up still, they got beat up by Stewartville last week, but Stewartville's
going to beat up a lot of teams.
They really are, and I think they moved to number 4 in the latest poll,
Yep.
and I don't think it's ridiculous to say they could be number 2. No knock it to Lure, but the way Stewartville started this season, they are awfully good, and I can't wait for that Stewartville and Lure game. That is going to be a heck of a
Have we mentioned that those section playoffs might be a little fun?
They'll be all right. Throwing ZM in that section too. Yeah. ZM's going to get like a 4 seed in that section. It's like, what? But I got to go with Lake City. I'm at home. I think Pine Island is going to be right there with them. I don't think this is a mismatch by any means, but I'm going to go with Lake City 27, Pine Island 20.
Only to be the opposite of you and try to get another game here. Not only, but like you, I think this will be a really good game, real close game, a 1-score game. Pine Island 26-21. I'll take the Panthers.
All right, next one, Rushford Peterson at Fillmore Central. This is a very interesting game. Rushford's 2-0, Fillmore's 1-1. RP, this will definitely be the best team they've faced so far. I feel like, they beat Southland last week. This is a tough game to pick. I'm very glad that you have to go first.
Let's talk about tough schedules right off the bat. Fillmore's loss came last week to a Blooming Prairie team that's also ranked in the top 10 in the state, and that was only by a touchdown. RP is the number 1 team in the state right now, probably deservedly so after the way they finished last year, making it to the prep bowl. But RP has to go on the road. Fillmore Central coming off a close loss, but let's see how that Falcons team can bounce back. This is a tough one.
I'm so glad you're going first. I'm going whatever you go to.
I'm going to take RP to edge Fillmore Central 18-16.
Now, why do you got to do that to me? All right, Fillmore Central, home team, I guess. I guess I'm going home teams this week. I really think that's going to be an awfully good football game too.
Fillmore kept Blooming to 18 points last week.
I'm going.
It's good defensive.
Fillmore 20, Rushford Peterson 18. I think that's going to be a good football game. Last one, Mayo Canton at Spring Grove. It's my game first. I've said all year that Spring Grove is the best team in the state, and I believe that fully, and I am glad people adjusted their rankings a little bit. They did get 3 first-place votes this week, so that's good. That's very good. So I'm going Spring Grove. I don't, no knock on Mayo Canton, because they're doing some good things. They've got some very good players. They've got Weifels and Kuhn. They've got some very good players right now. And they're going to beat some teams, but they just happen to be in the toughest conference and section. Not that there's just a conference anymore, but toughest section in the state.
District in the section.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Unreal. So I'm going Spring Grove. I don't know how you slow that offense down. I'm going Spring Grove 41 and Mayo Canton 21.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be back and forth. A lot of points put up, but like you said, Spring Grove, in my opinion, should be the number 1 team in the state. I'm going to take the Lions 48-30.
That's it, Phil.
That's it.
To wrap it up, one of our shorter shows.
More good games.
People are always yelling at us to do shorter shows.
I'm just short period. I don't like to do short things.
Only people knew that you were sitting on a chair that's like 8 inches taller than my chair.
What are you talking about? You're like 2 inches shorter than me.
My wife asked me the other week, why does Feldy look like he's just as tall as you?
Because I am.
Look, honey, you need to see the chair they put him on. That's a wrap, folks. Thanks for watching. Sponsor us. Email Feldy. Email anyone at the Post-Bulletin and tell us you want to buy us a beer or whatever. But thanks for watching. Get out to a game on Friday night.